Okay, next day. I really should get a proper microphone. Um, so hopefully this is it. Basically, I think it may have been my fault because if you read the thing carefully, I'll show you here. What I was doing was just trying to take it in all in as it was, but the way that Qlib wants it is in separate files. Basically, the best way that it wants it is every single CSV to be its own ticker name or symbol or instrument, whatever you want to call it. And then it wants pretty much only these columns: open, close, high, low, volume, factor, right? And I think it needs factor even if you're not going to use it. And so I think I've done that. I've separated my data as such to be accepted exactly as that. And it may not be exactly like OCHLV or OHCLV, but anyway, hopefully I'll figure that part out at least. So you do, I don't know what it's talking about, all this AI stuff, because you need basically just need to do it all yourself. I don't know. Yeah. So it looks like, as you can see maybe over here, that it's doing that. We're basically, I don't know what you call this, ingesting it. We're processing the CSV data into the Qlib's binary format using the dump bin Python script. So we're doing all this within the container. So we're in Docker or we're in Qlib, and I made sure to copy all of these files, all these different CSVs with their ticker names, into my Qlib data. So basically that I was able to mount it while starting Qlib. So I mounted it, and it doesn't matter where you mount it from, but in this case I did mount it from within a Qlib data folder or whatever. You could probably mount it from anywhere, but this probably makes more sense. So I copied it into there. And now it does seem to be doing the dump thing, and then hopefully this time it works. I mean, I've definitely done everything the correct way. If it doesn't work this time, it's I really don't think I did anything wrong if it doesn't work this time. I really think it's got to be a bug. But there we go. Hands up, I'll admit, I think it was definitely my fault. Or, I mean, you could blame AI. AI never suggested this to me. It was me who had to come to the conclusion. I'm like, hey, we're doing this wrong. You know, did you read the documentation? Because I gave it the documentation many times. I said, here, read this. And it kept thinking, as long as it's there, as the ticker name is there in a column, thinking the column was a row was a column, then it should be fine. And I'm like, no, the name needs to be either a full column or the whole CSV. And then I was like, oh, I see. Then we need to, yeah, okay. So, not just my fault, I guess, AI's fault as well, but of course, we're, as the programmer or quant or developer, or whatever you want to say, are at the helm of the wheel, so we have to, the buck stop with us, we're the ones that has to figure it out. AI is only a tool, so yeah, it was kind of, so my fault then, really. Okay, so we'll just let this process, and hopefully the data will be okay then, and then hopefully I didn't also adjust it for splits twice or something. I never bothered with the dividends. I don't know if that matters. Anyway, all right, so because there's splits and dividends, you see. Anyway, if it doesn't matter, since we have the data, we could probably sort it out later. Or even we could probably unsplit it now that if it's all in or something, I don't know. Alright, so I'll pause this, I'll be right back and I'll let you know the results. Okay, it seems to have processed. And every time I fire this up now, this is the song I sing. Talking Heads. Because that's what it feels like. Alright, so right, that seems to be processed, yeah. And then we need to just initialize Qlib with the correct provider config in your Python code or Jupyter book. Right, whatever. Fingers crossed. I don't know what the hell. What does that mean? I don't know if you can see that. Why is it saying region CN? It shouldn't be region CN. Okay, but why is it region CN? Should be region US. Anyway, here is the response. Yes, you're absolutely right. Since it's US stock data, blah blah blah. Do I need to change it? Let's modify the initialization code. Region US. Now Qlib is initialized. You can start working with your data. Is that true at last? No, it's not. There's issues again. Alright. Well, this is going to be fun. Oh dear. Close volume factor, open high low. I guess it's not in exactly the way that it wants, maybe. This is what I was saying, that maybe it's something to do with the actual how would you say, order of the way the columns are listed. I really didn't think that would matter. Maybe that's what the issue is. I doubt it somehow, but if it is, I definitely will be surprised about that. The error occurred because the data handler needs a specific format that includes the fields. Let's modify the code to match Qlib's expected format. Really? Is it feature close volume factor open high close, and then what format is it trying to give it? Maybe it's just the way it formatted the code. I don't know. I would be surprised if it's just the order of the columns. I really would. But okay, data loaded successfully. All right. What 07 is? Yeah, 07 indicates no data was loaded. We got 0 rows with 7 columns. This suggests you might need to first verify the data was properly converted. Check if the bin files were correctly. Let's check the data conversion first. Okay, so we need to go back to, this is basically the bash or shell, I don't know what you want to call this thing, the terminal. So, alright, so we've got that. And also, let's try to explicitly check for some stock data. Alright, and that is in the notebook. Alright. We're getting more errors. Okay, so I want to give it both outputs then. I'll give it this one. I'm just punching this into Claude on the side there if you can't see. let's say, okay, this looks normal. Up there are errors with Python. This may be just the code, I hope, and not the data. That's why I'm keeping this recording. Otherwise, I'd pause this and try and do it all again. It says, I see. Let me fix the handler configuration. The error is because frequency shouldn't be passed directly to data handler LP. Here's the corrected code. Okay, I'm hoping this is gonna come up with something. Also, since we see the corrected directory code structure, let's verify the data was properly converted. Could you also run these commands? Okay. Those commands. Well, that seems to be good. They're all there. And they're all there. So yes, to them, and error on this. All right, I guess I will pause this and then come back in a moment. So while I have another part of it, sort of trying to sort it out here, there's the key issues we've had on this one, not to mention all the other times I've tried to do it, but anyway. This initially got 07 shaped data frames. I think you saw that in a second ago. Data was present but not being properly loaded. Field name problems. Got errors with field references without any dollar prefix. Error field close contains invalid operator variable. Instrument access issue. Got instrument not exists errors. Found that while we had a all text.file, file, individual instrument files weren't being created. This indicates the binary conversion wasn't properly setting up the instrument specific data structure. And for file structure issue, while the basic directory structure was created, calendars, features, instruments, the detailed instrument level data wasn't properly organized. The current attempt with the modified dumpbin.py command specifically addresses these by explicitly specifying the symbol field name, ticker, setting up proper field mappings, creating the necessary instrument specific files. So we're waiting to see if that works. And that's a brief description of what's been going on, not to mention everything else. All these kind of errors and more before, but let's see if it works this time. I think we may have cracked it. I don't know exactly what worked. Let's see what we did there a second ago. So you see up here, the last time we tried it was the empty data frame thing again. Right, annoying. Then we went blah, blah, blah over here and we said, okay, still getting that thing. And then it said, okay. Oh, what did it say? Let's see. Let's go back to that error. Okay, so from there, it said, now we see the issue. The instrument path is case sensitive. Looking back at your available instrument output, we saw the stocks were listed in uppercase, like Apple. Let's modify this. All right, so I guess they all have to be lowercase, maybe, although I don't see that in the code, really. It's still doing it. Anyway, that's fine. Okay, so I did that. And then I did this, it told me to do this, which I listed. And then it said again, I see the issue now. Although we have all text, we don't have individual instrument files. We need to run this script to properly create the bin files. And then it did that. And after running this, then as I said to you, I gave you that update, what we did earlier on, what the issues were. Oh, sorry, this is the data frame. I started here. This is where I should have started from. Forget about everything I just said there. So again, empty data frame, and then this is what happened. It said, we're still getting empty data frames, right? Which suggests the data conversion isn't working as expected. Let's try these things. This the instruments thing, this head instruments thing, and these things, right? But then it said, I think this is the thing that worked, that helped it work. It said, let's also try the dump bin command with absolute paths and verify its processing files. So whatever that did, I think that's the one that worked, right? With absolute paths. I think that's what worked. This particular thing here, I think that's what happened. That's the thing that helped. All right, for this particular issue. And then we told us to check it, and then it worked. All right. So I said, excellent, we're now successfully loading the data. Yay, at long last, the output shows successfully loaded stock data. So it has the volume, no empty data frames. Okay. So got the correct format with multi-index, instrument data, and proper columns, close and volume. The data shape 1006-2 indicates we have 1006 trading days data. We can now load data for any stock in our data access any of the fields we converted, open high, low, close, volume factor, use this data with Qlibs. Would you like to try loading data from multiple stocks? 2, load different fields. Start working with Qlib analysis features. Let me know what you'd like to explore next. I'm just going to say, let's just do some extra EDA just to make sure that the data we really have it this time. Okay, so just to be sure, let's do some extra exploratory data analysis and to make sure the data is okay as a sanity check, I believe it's called. For example, check. I'll let Ed choose what it wants to do for a sanity check, and maybe plot some graphs, etc. Let's see how we go with that. All right, so looks like we may have a good idea. Let's do some comprehensive EDA on this side. So we're in Qlib now. You know, last time that wasn't much fun. When we were doing it, we figured out it wasn't good, and we had to do all this stuff again. This time, hopefully, it'll all go okay. So if everything's okay, EDA should be fine. You know, because you're not looking for specific outputs, you're just making sure the data is okay. So it shouldn't be an issue at all. Okay, loading data from multiple stocks. Yay, pretty graphs. That's what we're looking for. Pretty graphs. We got it. All right, we seem to be, I don't know what this Apple, this huge drop here. Now, I'm wondering, does that mean like I didn't do the stock splits right, or I did them twice or something like that? There's something like that doesn't look right at all. There's something going on with that. So you might have to condition. If it happened to that, why does it happen to only Apple there though? You know, that's the thing. You know, did that happen to Apple? No, I don't think so. Was there a major? Maybe there was a major stock split just after 2020, was there? I don't know. Again, I'm not crazy about taking pictures or uploading pictures. It wastes so much like tokens and stuff. But I think in this case, I think it's justified. I just want to show it like this was the result. Okay. And if it's happy with that, I'm just going to mention that to it. My screenshots. I was going to mention that. How do I get out of this thing? I don't know. Looks good. However, I see Apple did a huge drop after. Is that normal? Was it a stock split, or did I do something wrong in the data? All right, let's just go for that. Looking at the graph, it does appear unusual. Investigate this. First, let's check if there was a stock split during this period. Look at the data around that time. Okay, but why would it just be Apple though and not the others? Maybe the others are a bit not as good either. Right, well, at least we're getting somewhere. Maybe I did something to the Apple stuff. I don't know. Now what are we getting? I don't know if that's... Yes, this data reflects the 4-for-1 stock split that Apple executed on August 31st, 2020. The data looks correct. Oh, so it's correct. Because before the split in July 2020, prices were around $1.61 to $1.69 split adjusted. After the split, September 2020, prices are around 42 to 52 split adjusted. This is approximately a quarter of the split. Is it $1.69? It should be $160 rather than, and then $46 rather than cents, shouldn't it? I think the decimals are in the wrong places here. I think the decimals are okay. Are the decimals in the wrong places? Shouldn't that be like 161 to $169, then down to 46 to like 52. Oops, no, I'm making it wrong. 46. Yes, you're absolutely right. The decimal places appear to be shifted. One position that means all our price data is currently showing as 1/100 of what it should be. Let's verify this and fix it. Why would that be? Maybe is that my fault? Probably. I don't know. That's just with Apple though, but surely we need to correct everything if that's the case. Yes, the corrected data now shows the proper price levels. Let's fix this in the original CSV files before reconverting to Qlib format, as this will be more reliable than applying a transformation every time you read the data. Oh my goodness. Do I have to do it all again now for the CSV? I'm just going to be correcting the CSV files. Why is it 1/100? Why are the prices 1/100? So it's fixing the decimal places now on the original CSV file. So now I guess we're going to have to import the whole CSV again. At least we did have it working for a few seconds. All right, well, I guess I'll be back and see if everything is the right price and if the data is intact. And finally, if you can get some algorithms then running on this. We got a pretty graph. That's progress. We got pretty colors. Everyone loves pretty colors, right? All right, let's see. Be right back. Okay, I think we seem to have fixed the issue now with the price. Prices are better. We fixed this, but I noticed some inconsistency. Apple and Microsoft are reasonable, but others seem too high. Like Google and Amazon. Why is that? This is crazy. Let's verify stock A specifically, since its prices look unusually high. Alright, so only some of them were, I don't know if that had to do with the stock splits or, I'm not sure what's going on, but some of the decimal places were just not in the right place. And so we continue then to fix the data, I guess. I don't know what happened here. Alright, so some of them were fixed, and some of them, since it's applied to all, then some of them were not. So I guess we need to find out which ones need to be fixed. I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe, I guess it doesn't matter how it happened, we just need to fix them. Okay, so we're just trying to process them individually. I just said, any idea how this happened? I said the issue likely comes from the stock split adjustments, which were handled in the original data. When companies perform stock splits, there are two common ways to handle historical prices. Forward adjustment, future prices are divided by the split ratio. Or backward adjustment, historical prices are multiplied by the split ratio. In the case of A, for example, it looks like the split adjustments might have been applied multiple times or in the wrong direction. Looking at their history, Agilent was spun off from HB in 1999, which matches our earliest data point. They've had several corporate actions over the years. The extremely high prices we're seeing on the A data suggest that either the split adjustments were applied backward when they should have been forward, or multiple adjustments were stacked on top of each other. You didn't do anything wrong. This kind of issue often comes from how the original data source handled the adjustments. It's particularly tricky with older stocks that have gone through multiple corporate actions. Would you like to look up blah blah blah? Okay, so it's just that like the data that I got did have a stock split column, which I assumed then that the stocks weren't adjusted. So I proceeded to adjust them, which maybe I didn't need to do. So maybe that data was just included for extra data and I didn't need to do stock split or some stock splits. So maybe the original data was already adjusted or something. Maybe that's what happened. That still doesn't explain why some of them are and some of them aren't, you know? Because why would it was only the one file all the time until we divided them at the very last minute there. But anyway, this seems to be trying to fix it, so hopefully that works. It may not be 100% clean, but hopefully we'll get them all adjusted to correct enough. And I suppose there's anything that we're working on that seems out of whack, we'll sort of whack it back, you know? Whack-a-mole. Constant game of whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole. Alright, we're whacking them all here. We need about 9,000 files, then we should be done. And then hopefully we'll get to see more pretty colors and then do some algorithms. Yeah, let's get that. So you got to do EDA on both sides. You see, it looked, all the data looked fine before we brought it in. We had it exactly right way that it wanted to be brought in. Still had issues, and then you know it's always to do with the data is mainly the issue. I think once you're over the data hump, you know, well then you got to get to do the algorithm stuff. So, but this is a major part of it, I guess, the data. And then once you have that right, so make sure you do your EDA. Just do it before, do it after. Get all your data condition cleaned, whatever. And take note, I got that data from Kaggle, so maybe you don't, if you're getting it from there, maybe you don't need to do stock splits on it, or maybe you do, or maybe you just did it on some of them, I don't know. But beware of your stock splits in your stocks. Okie doke. Alright, I'm not exactly too sure. But basically, what happened was, it's later now, and it seems to be fixed, I think. So we're just going to double check that now. It looked like the main problems were with the ticker A, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Apple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 of them seem to have it wrong for some reason. Maybe we were doing sample stuff on that before. I'm not really sure. We might get a fancy graph now at last, and then we might wrap this up then, and maybe then the next one we'll actually have some proper. That's another thing about these cells. How do I stretch this out? There's no stretching on it, because once you get down to a certain, once you have so many cells, it doesn't. Anyway, it looks much better now, except for that big blue thing there, or was that the that stock split thing going on? I think it's much more. So it's there's just the stocks that it's picking anyway. And it's the visualizations on it there. I'm just trying to make sure that this is. There's no way to stretch that out, is there? Create a duplicate cell below. If I did, would that? No, it was duplicate. It would be the same. So this I'm saying. This definitely has drawbacks. Using these types of notebooks and terminals. Why it doesn't have the up and down keys for the previous things in the terminal, I don't know. That must be in the settings somewhere. I'm just going to give it the response here, and seems to be happy enough with that. Maybe we'll run a quick algorithm before we close this down, just to make sure something. I did go over to ChatGPT for a while, and it just wasn't as good at. I was trying to explain what happened because I couldn't get the Claude Sonnet for a while, so I just popped over here while I was having lunch or something, and I was trying to explain what I was doing, and it was like giving me all these other ways that I was like, I don't need to do all that. It was like re-import it and all this kind of stuff. I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for Sonnet to come back because we're on a roll with that. So I'll see if we can get some sort of an algorithm going with this and show a pretty graph for the ending and celebrate. Looks like we can celebrate this one. Okay, so we checked all the data and it seems to be fine, except there's a few issues. For example, a few of them are kind of normal sort of issues, but one of them says there's a high number of price jumps, which may suggest data quality issues. So I'm just going to look into that a little bit more, do a little bit more EDA here, and then hopefully on the next video then we will be able to actually get into algorithms. So for this video now, that's all we have for now, and I'll see you next time. For now, bye bye, see you again.